You know that feeling, the one that arrives at the dinner table like a small, polite ghost? You sit there, and you can name every face, but somehow none of them belong to the part of you that's speaking. Why does family sometimes feel like an audience and never like home? Because family should be where we are known, and instead sometimes it's where we feel most unknown. Today we'll explore why, quietly, carefully, and with a kind of tenderness that doesn't rush. It often starts small, an offhand joke that lands wrong, a question that becomes a test, a pattern of being interrupted, explained, or corrected. At first you tell yourself it's nothing. At first you forgive it. But the small things add up. Over years, they become a map you learn to live inside. And one day, you look around at your family and realize you are stranger to the very people who raised you. So, what's happening? Is it distance? Is it betrayal? Is it something else? There are three quiet dynamics that show up again and again. The first is expectation. Families carry stories about who you are supposed to be, the roles that were assigned before you could speak. You might be the responsible one, or the quiet one, or the dramatic one. Those labels are shorthand. They're efficient. They hold the family story together, but they can trap the person inside. When your life doesn't follow the map, when your choices, your loves, your griefs, your gender, your job, your quiet tastes don't line up with the family story, you feel foreign. Not because you are strange, but because you didn't get to write the label that comes before everyone else speaks. The second dynamic is safety, or the lack of it. Families are supposed to be safe places to fail, to cry, to disagree. But safety requires permission. If, as a child, you learned that strong feelings were too much, or that asking questions invited scorn, you practiced shrinking. You became fluent in silence. You learned to tuck parts of yourself away because that was the cost of staying. And here's the subtle cruelty. The more you hide, the less anyone knows where to look for you. So the family keeps performing the old script, and you, inside, are quietly different. The third dynamic is comparison. Not outward comparison, but mirrored comparison. Family has expectations that are also windows and mirrors. They show you versions of life that feel familiar, and they reflect back what fits the mold. When your inner life begins to diverge, you keep trying to fit. You edit yourself to match the reflection. You wear the clothes of their understanding. You smile for their version of you. But the mirror fractures. Now let's fold in the science for a moment, because there's a brain here doing honest work. When we are repeatedly judged or dismissed, our nervous system learns to anticipate rejection. It becomes easier over time to withdraw than to risk another mismatch. That withdrawal protects you. It also makes you quieter, and quietness can be read as indifference. So you get the lost, then misread loop. You withdraw to avoid hurt, and that withdrawal convinces others you don't need them. This is why being a stranger in your family rarely happens from a single betrayal. It's the slow accumulation of micro-injuries, the little naturalizations of being unseen. But there is a heart to this story that matters. You did not choose to be a stranger because you wanted to be distant. You adapted, you survived, you built armor that does two things. It keeps you safe and it keeps you apart. So what do you do with this? How do you leave the stranger behind, or at least make a quieter truce with them? There are 3 practical human steps that feel true to the rhythms I heard in those transcripts: attention, small disclosure, and boundary practice. First, attention. Give your inner life tiny moments of witness each day. A breath, a journal line, a walk where you notice how your body feels when certain names come up. This is not self-indulgence, it's relearning to take your own presence seriously. Second, small disclosure. Not a manifesto, not a dramatic reveal. One sentence, one moment. That joke earlier cut me. I felt invisible when... The goal is to plant seeds of recognition, not to summon sudden miracles. Over time, small disclosures grow into new maps. Third, boundary practice. This is humility, disguised as courage. Boundaries are how you teach people what you will and won't accept, gently, clearly, repeatedly. You model a new script by living it. You say, "I can't do that tonight," or "I won't discuss X in front of others," and you hold it. None of these are dramatic fixes. They are cumulative. They are like solitude for your inner life, small, intentional acts that reorder the inner library. There will be setbacks. Old family stories are stubborn. People will resist the new map because it asks them to remember you differently. Sometimes they will hurt you. Sometimes they won't notice at all. That does not mean the work is useless. There is another truth that transcripts underline again and again. Connection grows out of presence more than performance. If you return to family with more presence, more attention, more steadiness, less reactivity, you change the gravitational field of the relationship. You make it easier for others to find you. Now, an honest encouragement. If you feel like a stranger, you're not beyond repair. You carry history. You carry adaptations that protected you. But you also carry the capacity to invite change. Try this small experiment. Next family gathering, arrive 5 minutes early. Sit somewhere quiet. Breathe. Notice which story about yourself shows up first. When someone says something automatic about you, pause. Try one calm sentence of disclosure. Then breathe again. These tiny moves shift more than you might expect. They teach your nervous system that vulnerability can be safe. They teach your family that you are not a static character in their story. You are a person. And if family refuses to change, then the hardest, tenderest lesson from the scripts is this: you have permission to protect your life. Protecting yourself may mean distance. It may mean choosing other people as family, friends, partners, communities who see you. That is not betrayal. That is survival and integrity. Let's expand a little here with an example that might feel familiar. Imagine bringing a partner to dinner who doesn't share your family's humor. You notice the laughs are stitched around old jests and assumptions. Your partner's quiet discomfort is visible. You feel torn, loyal to your partner's safety and loyal to a family history that taught you to smooth over friction. In that moment, you have a choice. You can perform the expected laugh and keep the peace for one night, or you can step outside the script, briefly, softly, by touching your partner's hand, making eye contact, or offering a private aside. "I don't find that funny." That small realignment action signals to both people who you are. It doesn't burn the house down. It shifts the choreography. Another practical tool from the transcripts is language framing. Use I statements that carry curiosity. "I notice I feel unseen when we only talk about X. Can we try something different?" Curiosity lowers defenses. It invites collaboration rather than accusation. There is also the work of naming intergenerational patterns. Families inherit not just stories, but fears, strategies, and particular styles of caring. When you say, "We have always handled grief by staying busy," you invite a meta conversation. You create space to talk about how things were learned, and maybe how they can be different now. If you have children or younger relatives, the work takes on a moral urgency. How you show up teaches them what family can be. Showing up as your full, imperfect self models a new kind of courage, the quiet sort that often matters most. And if direct conversation feels too risky, cultivate other forms of presence. Send a text after a gathering that names one specific moment you appreciated. Bring a small habit, making tea for an elder, asking about a hobby, that says silently, "I see you." Presence doesn't always need sentences. It sometimes needs consistent small acts. Now, one last note on pacing, both for you and for the script of a life. Change is slow. Real change in family dynamics tends to be incremental and often uneven. Expect small wins. Expect regressions. Keep doing the small things anyway. Over months and years, the accumulation is what creates a new felt sense of belonging. I'll end the way these videos do, with a small, quiet hope. You are not a stranger by default. You are a person who learned to survive, and survival can become presence. So when you sit at that table and the familiar faces feel foreign, remember this: presence grows slowly. Start with small acts, attention, one sentence, a boundary held gently, and over time, the alien feeling thins. Because family, when it is at its best, is not a script to be performed. It is a place to live your life fully with the people who learn to remember who you are. You are allowed to be curious about home. You are allowed to try again. You are allowed to hold both tenderness and distance. Thank you for listening. And if this landed with you today, let it sit for a moment. Breathe, then go slowly.